Welcome to the Women in Business radio show with Sian Murphy, connecting women in business around the globe.
Hello and welcome into the Women in Business radio show studio. I'm Sian Murphy, and Michelle, if she stopped dancing, is my co-host
Michelle Yianni-Attard.
And at least she's got her name right.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell you what, we're winning.
We are.
Always winning. So, welcome to our roundup show for February, and we're actually doing it on February the 1st, which is rather good, isn't it?
I
actually,
love
at the
it.
Start of the month. So, what's going to be happening? We have Zoe Cairns from ZC Social Media. She will be ringing in all round about 12:15. Oh, that's nearly now.
Yep.
Round about 12:15 with our social media roundup for the month, telling us what's going to be happening, what we should perhaps be focusing on, any changes in the social media platforms, basically anything that we need to know from the ZC Social Media Academy. Mm-hmm. Also in the studio, we have Gina English from Social Enterprise Kent. Welcome into the studio, Gina.
Hello.
And we also have Lauren Edwards, who is the Cabinet Member for Economic and Social Regeneration and Inward Investment and Medway Council. And she's also this is very exciting, she's also the Labour's parliamentary candidate for Rochester and Strood at the next general election. So she could be our next MP. Hello. We have a studio full of very, very busy ladies. I've done it again. I've said ladies again, haven't I?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
I'm going to get on with. Oh, look, Zoe's here with us already.
Yeah.
That's quite handy, isn't it?
It is.
So, hang on a minute. We're just going to be having Zoe let into the studio. Now, what do I do? Hang on a minute. Hello, Zoe. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Good. Oh, listen, we've only just gone back. We've only just gone on air, and I'm thinking Zoe isn't going to ring for another 3 to 4 minutes. What are we going to yammer on about? A couple of people said there really wouldn't be a problem, but welcome, Zoe. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you do and your very special international ZC Social Media Academy with our social media update. So, Zoe, what's happening in the world of marketing and social media?
Lots of things happening, and I don't know where to start, but I thought I'd just take a couple of what's going on, because I can always then tell you more about the others next month. Otherwise, I don't want to overwhelm everyone. But a couple of things here, especially with Instagram. Again, Instagram really taking the lead of developments and new features. In particular, they've brought out polls that you can now add to your reels and to comments in, like, underneath your posts, to really get that engagement and get that interaction from your audience. And it probably sounds a bit weird, and it's really awkward when I can't show it, but if you head over to my Instagram, Zed Cairns, you will see that I did a video yesterday to demonstrate this. It's where you can post your reel, which is a small video clip. You can add a poll to it, which really gets your audience engagement. And I think that's going to really help in building up your engagement, building up those conversations on your Instagram account, which is really good. What else have we got? We've also got, they've said to make things so much more simpler now on Instagram is to reduce the number of hashtags that you are using. There's still so many people out there using 30 hashtags. When they're saying use 5 to 9, I would say 5 max. Lots of people said to me, God, that's a massive drop in how many they were using, but you just need to be more specific in what hashtags you are using. So when you're selecting hashtags, make sure they're not hashtags that have got lots of posts on those particular hashtag streams. You need to make sure that you're like a big fish in a small pond, so you get seen. So use hashtags that have not got as many posts to them, rather than using hashtags that have got thousands of million posts to them. Otherwise you just won't get found. Does that make sense? So
yeah, and
they do want us to...
I think it's sort of almost about thinking a little bit more about your marketing and what you're doing, and who is likely to be interested or who you want to attract. Because I do get the very strong sort of sense that people just copy and paste hashtags in massive great groups of as many as they can splat out on a post without actually thinking, and I'm sure there's 3, 4, 5 possibly more hashtags in there that actually have nothing to do with that post. It's just what they normally put out.
No, I agree. It's about being more strategic, doing that planning, thinking about your hashtags, and hashtags change as well down to trends and what's going on in the world as well. So think about those.
It's actually quite spammy to just sort of splat out the same stuff all the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so by making us think, not that I do anything like that, obviously, but I hardly managed to get any hashtags in there at all.
Well, do you know what's really interesting as well, Sian? Where people are cross-posting from Instagram across to Facebook, what's happening is if they were using 30 hashtags, it looks awful on their Facebook.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're reducing, it doesn't look so bad.
So just sort of taking up that idea is a way of really sort of focusing and rethinking what you're doing with your marketing and who you're trying to reach and what you're trying to achieve, isn't it? It's a sort of it's a discipline that it's a discipline that's only going to do us good.
Yeah. You're really quiet. You're really faint. But
Am I?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why. Okay, there's not a lot I can do about that. I can shout.
That's okay. Unless my ears are blocked. I've had this horrible cold.
Probably why.
Okay, so perhaps that's what it is.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Zoe's ears are blocked.
So definitely with Instagram, definitely those polls on Reels and definitely looking at hashtags. The other thing that I really want to share for those of you that are more B2B and business to business and using LinkedIn, they now have launched something on our LinkedIn company pages. So not our professional pages, but our LinkedIn company pages where you can have a featured area. You know when you're on your LinkedIn personal page, you scroll down and you've got that area where you can add links, and it's called like featured area, and you might have a video, a link, and your newsletter link. It's an area where it brings all of like the key important things to one area that people can be highlighted on your profile. And they've now launched this for company pages, which I think is a really great thing.
Wow.
So that's really positive. I think that's going to really help in generating more traffic to our website. It helps people, it highlights everything from the noise. And if people go to your company page, those things are there quite prominent for people to see. So that's just rolling out.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I wanted to tell you about was Threads. And again, I can't pronounce Threads, as you know.
Fred.
I always say Fred.
Fred. Okay.
Fred. And the really interesting thing is now they're working on an API, which is this bit of coding. I'm not going to go into detail. Mark will tell you all about that.
Oh, really? I doubt it very much. but I admire your optimism.
Good old Mark.
Don't. They are working on an API, which means a bit of coding to now be able to integrate threads into our scheduling tools.
Oh,
as soon as that's
very
available,
good.
We'll then be able to schedule and post to that platform via our scheduling tools. And I think that's going to be a game changer for a lot of people, because some people want to use it, but they just post into it. And I think we'll see a difference in the amount of usage as well with that platform, because I do believe a lot of people will come from Twitter or X over to that platform, which they gradually have started to do. There's still a massive audience on X, very much people into crypto and entrepreneurs, but it'd be interesting to see how it goes over on Threads.
I've sort of got a reasonable number of followers and audience on Twitter, X.
Yeah.
But it feels, I don't know, it feels really harsh to me now, like a harsh space. And I don't know how to say that, because why I'm saying that, because I haven't really been on it. So I'm feeling like I've just sort of, I've lost everything that I built up. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a space that I want to be in anymore.
No, it feels weird, doesn't it?
And I keep thinking, must do this, and I've got all of the scheduling journaling tools and I've got all of this sort of thing, and I used to be quite active on it. But I don't know, I just don't want to go on it. It just doesn't feel right or nice.
Yeah. It feels a bit like unknown territory now.
I don't know. I mean, when we start any social media platform, when we start as new on anything, it's a brand new for that individual, isn't it? I mean, I've got an account on Threads because I activated it through Instagram, but I've never really done anything on it. And I keep meaning to, but it looks like a nice space to be. It looks like there's interesting stuff going on and all of that sort of thing. Whereas I don't know, perhaps it's just me.
I've never even looked at it.
Once you know who the audience is that's interacting, you've done that bit of research, and then think about your strategy and whether it's right. I think then you can then start posting and know that what you are posting is going out to an audience you want to be in front of.
I think it's the name X. It's so harsh, isn't it? It's just harsh. Twitter was lovely. It was a little bird.
I love Twitter.
It was a little bird, and it was soft, and it was nice, and it was friendly. Whereas X it's harsh.
It is harsh. I don't like the new name at all.
It is. I agree with you.
So I'm making a decision as to whether I come off it.
Oh, sorry, Sian.
No, I was just saying I'm in the process of sort of making the decision as to whether I come off it or not. I'm not on it. So, I'm there and I'm doing nothing, and I think that's worse than actually not being there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe just going and having a look and just getting used to even going into the platform again, just to be familiar with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was Twitter I was thinking, or X I'm thinking of actually leaving because I'm not doing anything. I'm thinking of ramping it up on Threads and actually sort of taking part over there because it just looks like more me, to be honest.
And the growth is really good on there, Sian. The EU have just got availability of the app, so then you've got that audience coming in. So it's a great time to be joining.
Okay. So a case of sort of getting in there in early stages and perhaps getting some traction in what is still a relatively new platform.
Exactly.
Okay. So did I derail you, Zoe? Did you have something else to talk about?
No, just one more thing that I promised I would follow up on from last time, which was the LinkedIn verification. Excuse me. So the LinkedIn verification now is rolling out to many profiles, which is where your profile can be verified by your ID to show that you are who you say you are. I went through the process. It was really easy to go through. And it sort of puts like this little government stamp on your profile. So not too sure where that will go, but it was an easy process. And when it becomes available, when you scroll through your profile, you'll have like a little tab that says, would you like to verify your accounts? Just another thing for people to look out for.
Okay.
I like that idea.
There we go. I think I need to go and do that because I think I've seen that.
Also,
and that's a few updates that I think people would find useful. I do have probably hundreds more, but they're the ones that I think would be good for everyone to really focus on.
Thank you so much. They're so easy to... It's nice when they're like that and they're concise. It's easy to action. I think, did you have a question or a comment, Michelle?
Coming back to that government verified on LinkedIn, a lot of accountants, when they do their AML, they have to check out the
What's an AML?
Anti-money laundering.
Right.
So we have to go through a procedure of anti-money laundering with our accounting bodies. And we need to see if these are a live person, are they actually got a business, that sort of thing. The fact that LinkedIn is going to verify people and have a government stamp, that's going to make life a lot easier. We can download the profile and put it on our AML profiles systems.
That's good.
Oh, yes.
That's good. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I think quite reassuring as well. If you do want to check whether somebody's real, we hear so much about scams going on and all this sort of thing, don't we? Yeah. You can just find out, has somebody checked has somebody verified who they are. So that's really useful. That will keep me amused all evening. Then I'm going to have some spag bowl. Bit of wine, a bit more wine,
nice.
really, and I'll play with my LinkedIn profile.
Wow,
and then I'll be able to say I've got myself verified, won't I?
Yeah,
I may have done nothing else, but I've verified myself on LinkedIn.
It'd be fun if it says no, it can't recognise you.
You'll never hear about it again. That'll be it. I'll just forget about it totally. There'll be something wrong with LinkedIn, obviously. Thank you so much, Zoe. Thank you so much. And thank you also for coming on, because you're coughing. We've got Gina in here coughing.
Oh,
honestly,
I'm trying to hold it.
It's like the Sicky twins.
It worse, though.
Listen, thank you. Now we've got the giggles. Thank you so much, Zoe.
You're most welcome.
We will see you back on the show for our roundup in a month's time. So
perfect. Well, you take care.
I will see you soon. You take care. Thank you. Bye. Oh, she's lovely, Zoe, and she's always got some super, super, super practical tips. You know, the sorts of things that anybody can do. You don't have to be a whiz kid, which is just as well in my case. So I think that LinkedIn one is just super, actually. Going to go and get that done. So thank you very much to Zoe Cairns there from ZC Social Media. So, hello, Mark, are you around the corner? I can't see him. Do I need to give you some time, or are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Okay. So we've got Mark Jennings from Storm Chasers Digital, who is going to be... I don't know what he's doing. I never know what I'm doing, let alone anybody else. He's going to be just a couple of trends, what's happening in the world of local businesses and websites.
Okay, so I've got 2 quick updates for you. The first one is... they're both going to happen in March. So the first one will be the next WordPress update, which is going to happen... up to version 6.5 it will become. That's scheduled for the 26th of March.
Hang on a minute. I'm so sorry. There is something wrong with that microphone because you sound like you've got a lisp.
Okay.
And you... sorry, Michelle, can you... Is it my headphone? Can you hear it?
I can't hear it.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll go. We'll move. Actually, no. We'll leave him with that. You see,
leave me with my lisp.
You sound really. I did wonder because I thought Lauren hasn't got a lisp, and you were using that microphone. She hasn't got a lisp, but it sounds like she has. So it sounds really strange from my end. But let's go. So sorry. WordPress update.
Yep, happening the schedule for the 26th of March, and it's going to be updating the APIs, which is Application Programming Interface. Seeing as Zoe mentioned it, I thought I'd better clear that up. And basically, they're starting to redesign the admin, the way the admin looks when you're editing pages and posts. And also in March for Google Business Profiles, Google is taking away the Google Business websites that were created through the profile. Most of these were done when it was Google My Business rather than Google Business Profile. So they're going to be turned off starting in March, and then people will be redirected to your profile. So people that were going to your website will now go to your Google Business Profile. And then starting the 10th of June, what they will get is a page not found message.
Oh, wow.
So if anybody has got a website done through that way, you perhaps need to think about having a new website.
So, I mean, this is critical for local businesses, isn't it? So businesses that operate within a geographical area, or is the website thing relevant? I suppose it's relevant for anybody who's set that up.
Yeah, it's relevant for anybody that set their website up that way, yeah.
So if you had a free website before, you're not going to have a free website anymore.
No, Google's taking them away.
But you'll still have your Google. So what are you supposed to do now? Say you can't afford or don't need or want a website. You've still got your Google Business Profile, but that's really only relevant if you have a local business, a business that operates in a local area with local customers, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can have a Google Business Profile. You can take bookings and things like. So if you were a dog groomers or something like that, you can take bookings from your profile. So you don't actually need a website in that respect. But obviously, people's perception, of what a business is. A business has a website.
Yeah.
So that's just something you need to put into the mix when you think about shall I, shan't I?
Yeah, so just bear in mind that if you've been using the free Google websites, they're not there. There isn't even an option to upgrade, is there? They're actually just not there.
No, they're just turning them off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been for a while that if you're a new business setting up a profile, you couldn't create one. But now, if you have created one, they're taking it away.
Okay, well, perhaps in the next update, because we don't have time to explore all of that today, and maybe look at some of the options that are available to people. Because if you were using a free website, I'm sort of prepared to bet that you don't have a massive budget to be going and creating a brand new website somewhere else. So perhaps, Mark, you can put together some options that people may actually be able to use to create themselves some, if not free, because nothing's free, is it? Either free or very, should we say cheap?
On a budget.
Affordable budget.
On a budget.
Budget website things. And I would say, as sort of having a WordPress website myself and knowing a lot about WordPress, that WordPress is not the easy option that people very often think it is, that there is a difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org, and going and getting a WordPress.com website, you can get it hosted and you can set it up for nothing, but the costs can ramp up. But a WordPress.org website, you need somebody who knows what they're doing to actually load it up and put it together. So just be aware of those two separate distinctions, because I hear this so often, people going, oh, just go and get a WordPress website, it's free and really easy. There's two WordPresses.
Absolutely.
So just be aware of that before you leap off Google and go and get yourself a WordPress website. There's a little bit more research that needs to go into it.
100%.
So, sorry, have you got anything else, Mark?
No, that's it.
That's it.
Wow.
I thought I'd keep you amused for a bit.
Thank you.
I love it.
So
I love your humour.
Let's head over and see what else. I have some news about Body Shop, which probably nearly everybody knows now already.
Yeah.
But perhaps some ideas around that and how vulnerable potentially we are as businesses. But I can talk about that in a minute. So who else has got something? What else have we got? Have you got anything in the strategy, sort of financy strategy side? Gina, Lauren, have you got anything, sort of trends, updates, anything that you've noticed been happening in, could be the social enterprise communities side of things or business?
I mean, I don't know what you're after, but I could talk a
No,
little bit.
there is no.
There isn't. We just take it.
There isn't actually a structure here.
What gave you that impression?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a plug and a bit of helpful information. So around the Kent and Medway Business Fund, which has recently been relaunched, and I've got Medway back involved in it as a more active participant. And there's just Google it, there's a website there. But I think in the current environment that we're in, with interest rates still very, very high, what that fund is offering to Kent and Medway-based businesses that are looking to expand, looking to grow, create new jobs, maybe diversify their product lines, is a 0% basically interest-free loan up to £600,000.
Yeah.
So there's obviously an application process. You have to check that you're eligible. But that is a really attractive offer when a lot of businesses I know are finding it difficult to get bank loans to help them to expand. So I just want to make people aware of that. And also a little plug, if I could, about the Medway Business and Skills Showcase, which is happening at Mid-Kent College on the 10th of April this year. I think a lot of the big business events, some of them are going through a bit of a difficult time. I think the Kent's Business Vision Live has said that it's basically, unfortunately, being postponed indefinitely. Yeah. So this is going ahead. It's being run by Medway Council. It's a real good opportunity for Medway businesses to showcase what they do. So just wanted to make people aware of that. We're releasing some more details later on. I've actually got a photo call at Mid-Kent College later today, which is why it's particularly on my mind. So yeah, look out for more details about how you can get involved in that as well if you're a Medway-based business.
So generally, sort of, wherever you are, have a look at the funding opportunities that are available.
Absolutely.
Interest-free or low-interest loans, as well as potentially grants. I think very often we think of things in terms of either having a grant from a local authority or some organisation, or getting a loan from a bank and that sort of thing. But there are there are other opportunities out there.
Yeah,
and I think
definitely.
the important thing is just to be aware. And I know it's different. If you're in another space in the world, you're not going to be able to tap into the Kent and Medway Business Fund. But there are funds all over the world.
Absolutely.
It's just about it. They're really not easy to find, though, are they?
No.
It's it's so unfortunate. They are just not easy to find. And from my point of view, I suppose because I'm tuned into it, I see the amount of promotion that goes into it, but still, people just don't know that they exist.
No.
Yeah.
Or they don't think that it's for them.
Yeah.
I think that niche criteria that we spoke about earlier is one of the reasons for that, because it's very difficult sometimes to reach the people you need to, because you only got, like, for instance, the Thanet one. It's only if you operate 70% of your business in Thanet that you can apply for those grants.
Absolutely.
So it's there, but you really have to search for it.
So it's like looking on the councils or local councils' websites, and then typing in funding in the search menu and see what comes up, really.
And I think also finding people like Lauren, so economic development, the portfolio holder, so if you like the politician who is driving that economic development locally, see if you can find that person and ask them. Just say, this is what I do. What is around here for me? What is available that you can point me in that direction? I think you sort of might have to make a little bit of a nuisance of yourself, don't you, and approach people personally.
Yeah, but if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah,
and a lot of councils will have economic development teams
Mm-hmm.
who are very skilled in supporting businesses and making sure that people know about these opportunities. They'll have e-newsletters like we have in Medway, which will give you like a one-stop shop for all the grants and the loans that are available, the networking events that are coming up in the area.
I was going to say networking.
It's completely, anyone with regeneration or economic development in their job title, you want to be making a connection with them at a local council level. I would also recommend, there's a lot of regional economic development bodies as well who are looking at things from a slightly broader picture. So they might be the whole of Kent, or they might be the whole of the South East. Chambers of Commerce, the local FSB, Federation of Small Businesses. All of those are really good entry points to just know what's available. And like you say, Sian, it's about contacting people at a personal level and just giving it a go, just saying, look, this is my kind of business, this is what I'm looking to do, can you signpost me to support?
I think one of the biggest challenges I've seen is actually thinking this isn't for me, and it's one of the reasons that I set up the Women in Business Big Show was to bring in everybody from accountants like yourself, who has quite a big staff, through to somebody who's making jewellery on the kitchen table, to actually say, do you know, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. If you're selling something, if you're doing something, if you're delivering something, you're a business. That business, doesn't matter where you start, that business can grow, and you have the right. You have the right to be in this room, and you have the right to talk to everybody concerned, and you have the right to go to the council, and you have the right to talk to this person. Because I see just this, almost like this, there's a barrier, which is, I do this, it's not serious. I'm not employing 250 people. I'm not qualified or entitled to speak to anybody. But you just are. You just are. So just get out there and put your big girl pants on. And just go and ask what's around for me. And I think you may be very, very pleasantly surprised. I know I was. I know I was. Are you going to say something?
Yes, I was. I've always got something to say. So our annual conference back in October was around diversifying your income stream. So in this sector, that is particularly what people are doing, because that grant funding pot is shrinking or has shrunk. Really, we need to be making money for ourselves. And what does that look like? How can we do it? So what is a new business idea that you can find? And then, so I'm just looking here at a bit of marketing material that I've made recently for the Infrastructure Support Fund. So the workshops that we run is around finding that new business idea, and then how would you go about researching the market and what the model looks like, and then the strategy with your board of how to implement that, and then finding your staff, your clients, any volunteers perhaps that you could help to put that into practice. And then also the other side of it is controlling your back office expense. So it's looking at the whole thing, finding investment and grants, looking at economies of scale. What technology can you use to facilitate it and make it a success? So that is quite a lot of the things that like the third sector social enterprises we're hoping that they're looking at. And then also we're trying to drive home that collaboration is really, really key to success. So don't be scared of it, embrace it.
You just mentioned two little words together, which I want to have a show on because I think it gets lost, and that's business model.
Absolutely.
I think business model is just a key thing that everybody talks about business plans and strategies, and I don't hear people talking about business models, and I just think they're critical. I really do, and it's something that I implement when I'm working with businesses. My starting point is a business model.
Yeah.
It's not a business plan. It's a business model, and what is this for?
Yeah,
exactly. What is this business for? Why does it exist? Why are we even here?
Yeah.
What's it about?
Exactly.
What's it about? And so I think business models, we're going to have a business model show.
Okay. I've already made a note of that.
Business model show. There's an excellent book out there. I think it's by Strategizer, something like that. Strategizer, business models, really, really good. It goes through business models of people like McDonald's and Disney and Apple.
And why is it a success?
Why they're successful?
Yeah, and it's excellent. And the business model canvas.
It's the same as the marketing, isn't it? Look at someone who has been successful. What did they do? How did they do it? And why does it work? And how can we replicate that?
But it's deeper than that, because you look at it, and I think there's a bit of a cliche around this, isn't there, about how McDonald's, you say, oh, what business is McDonald's in? And everybody goes burgers, and actually it's not, it's property.
Absolutely, it's property.
I don't know. I've just thrown that out. I'm not saying that that's true or not, but it's that sort of thing. It's actually about delving into actually really how the business works, and forget about your business plan comes next.
And innovation. Innovation is a very key word. You've got to change with the times. That's what makes you successful.
Yes, you do not want to be.
No, you can't.
I don't know that I'm going to mention them, but very famous camera company.
That's what I was going to say. Kodak. Kodak. Or you can look at Blueberry.
Yes. Go and try and find one of their photocopiers.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned diversification of different income streams, and I wanted to just mention Body Shop. Body Shop, multi-level marketing company, who also have high street branches, who very, very recently, and it's quite bizarre because I had a conversation with somebody who worked with Body Shop and who had a business with them and had built a business with them. And I think multi-level marketing, I think that direct selling is a fantastic model. I think if it's the right company, it gives you an in. You don't have to hold stock. It enables you to start up a business really very, very cheaply with no risk at all, really, apart from perhaps a couple of £100. But they changed their model. They changed their business model.
Yeah.
And they stopped operating through distributors.
Yeah.
They shut that down.
Yeah.
So, anybody who was supporting a team has lost that income. And then they continued allowing them to be distributors, but they contacted all of the customers directly. So that almost sort of took the business out from underneath, sort of swept their knees out, if you like, took it out from underneath them. But a business is a business. A business has to operate in the way that it has to operate to keep functioning. And if you're running your business, and it could be that you're doing multi-level marketing, it could be that you have everything through one supplier.
Yep.
And that you're taking orders, and you've got one supply route in for something. I had that with journals, actually, that I'm supplying, and I'm now in the process. I've set up a way that I can produce them myself.
Absolutely.
So that I'm not vulnerable to the company that are producing them going, no, we're not going to do that anymore, or we can't get hold of it, or we're going to change how we do it, and we're going to make it in a different way. So they change their values, and that goes against my values. So I think you just have to make sure that you do not, what we were talking about, have all of your eggs in one basket. Because this business is always a time of change, isn't it? And we're seeing a lot more of it at the moment, I think, of companies changing how they're working and making sure that you have more than one business stream. And perhaps if you're working in cosmetics, as somebody like Body Shop or Avon or something like that you have a speciality. Specialise in skin for a particular, for women over 60, and then have a range of products that you use to actually market and sell what you do within that particular niche, so that if somebody does go, actually, we're not producing that anymore, you can go, that's okay, I can switch over here and do that. And just, I don't know, it's in a way it's the same as being employed, isn't it, if you're not careful?
It is. I think people,
somebody can just go, not going to do that anymore, sorry, when you're redundant, bye.
I think people don't really realise that you could have extra income streams or scared to get that. Because they're used to something.
I also think that there's a perception around about having too many projects.
Yeah.
Gina, you're a lady who's got lots and lots of projects. Lauren, you're very busy. I have so much on the go, I don't know. I do nothing well. You have lots of stuff happening,
I just push myself into everything.
Do you feel that there is there's this sort of thing out there, this advice, just have focus on one thing, just do one thing? Can anybody here just do one thing?
No.
Never.
No.
It's a very risky proposition.
Yeah, it is.
But it is, you mustn't have more than 2 or 3 projects.
Why not, though?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Why not?
I know, but I believed that for ages.
Yeah.
I believe for ages that if you had too many projects on the go, that you were doomed to failure.
That's not strictly true. It's not strictly true at all.
I think as long as you're very clear about your prioritisation and what you need to be focusing on,
exactly,
it's not a problem. But if I said yes to everything that came into my inbox, I would not have any time to think and act strategically.
Yeah.
I think it's a delicate balance.
It is. That's it. It's balance.
And I think it's about having what I'm going to call sort of discrete projects. So you can go, that's that, and that's how that works, and that's when I'm going to spend time on that. And Gina, I can see you. I don't know whether
I don't have a choice because
I don't know whether you're giggling or cringing.
I'm with you. No. I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a choice. I don't run the business. Obviously, I work for the organisation, and if people need marketing, they need marketing. I also do sales as well. So
exactly.
We need sales, but I also have come up with some other ideas that we're also going to put into the business plan to diversify the income stream. So I do, by just opening my mouth, give myself more work to do all the time.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Because you come up with different ideas. It's about innovation. You've got some ideas.
But they're good ideas. Like,
exactly.
Not to blow my own trumpet,
because you see there's a niche for that market.
You see a problem, you see the solution, you see how it can work, and you're like, we've got to do it.
Exactly.
So let's find the time.
I think the key is then what you deprioritise or you delegate to somebody
what
else.
do you say no to?
Exactly.
Saying no, I think, is as important as saying
yes.
Because I want how I act and the things that I do to be deliberate. You can be very busy, but as long as it's deliberate, it's okay. But what I don't like is where I feel like I'm being pulled by external factors and I lose that sense of control.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you stop that happening?
Yeah, how can you say no?
You just have to say no. Look, I don't have capacity for this right now. Try me again in 6 months' time. But I mean, in a business environment, if it's demand led, that's a very different conversation.
It took me a long time to learn how to say no. Because initially, when I first started out in business, it was actually really quite flattering. You've started out in business, you don't know what you're doing. Somebody says, do you want to do X, Y, and Z? Or they want to take you on, they want to be your client. And this is what they want you to do. And you go, yes. Yeah. It's so wonderful. Somebody wants me.
Yeah. I think if you've been like me at the edge of burnout, though, where you're actually thinking, I wouldn't be doing anything because I'd have burnt myself out. Saying no becomes a much more attractive proposition because actually I can then do the things that I want to do. Yes, I might have to deliver a bit of a difficult message, but it means I can still act. But if you burn yourself out, you're going to have they talk about months of recovery.
Yeah, that's true.
Build yourself back up. But you don't want to be in that position.
I've got a theory about burnout, and I want to run it by you.
Oh, yeah, I know this theory.
I don't think if you are doing what you love doing, if you're doing something that is in line with your values and brings you what you want and need, that it doesn't matter how hard you work, you won't burn out.
Because you love what you're doing and you're feeling energized by it.
Yes.
Maybe some truth in that, yeah.
But that you burn out when you find yourself in a situation doing something that you no longer want to do but haven't made the decision to stop doing it, doing something that somebody else wants you to do and that you feel that you don't have that control over it.
Yeah.
And that's what the burnout is. It's not doing too much. It's not having enough sleep. I'm not saying, you don't need to have sleep, but it's not about not having enough sleep. It's not about doing too much generally, about getting up at 5 a.m. and still running around at 9 and 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It's about doing stuff that you actually don't want to do or shouldn't be doing. And that's what causes burnout. And I think your mind goes, I'll tell you what, Dumpling, I've been telling you about this for quite some time. You don't like doing it. You shouldn't be. You've actually got another purpose here. So I'll tell you what, have a dose of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There might be some truth in that.
Yeah.
Have a dose of that. When you're feeling better, we'll have another chat and perhaps you'll do what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you've got to have that talk with yourself.
Yeah, I have never seen anybody who genuinely loves what they're doing be tired or burnt out.
It's interesting.
Got any thoughts? Or is that just my? Is that
I'm lucky that I've not been at that point. I mean, I've got quite. So people laugh at this. I always say, I'm a bit like a dog. Like I'm only thinking about what's going on now and what's in front of me.
There
and then
you
as
go.
soon as I leave
Yes.
the office and I shut the door,
That's amazing.
I'm home and I'm done.
Okay.
And, I will.
Don't make me climb over this
I know.
desk.
I wish that I could do that.
Really
That is
irritating.
not lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no luck involved.
boundary.
There's
It's
no,
It's
not.
just how I'm made.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no luck there. You employ that.
You did.
You use that being in the now.
Yeah.
And setting your own boundary.
Oh, that sounds great.
It just happens. It's not something that is conscious.
I know.
I'm just. My mum's like it. My daughter's like it. We're just like, what's going on now? Okay, let's do that. And
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish I was like that.
And I don't do the overthinking thing.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
No.
Wow.
I'm just. There's not a lot going on.
Okay.
I want to be like that. How can I be like that?
I don't know. If I could sell it, I'd be like.
Exactly. You would.
I sort of can. I can. So if you set an alarm
Yeah.
for once an hour to focus on something else and become conscious of your body. So I think about my bum on the seat actually,
Okay.
because you can only think of one thing at a time.
Yeah.
So set an alarm, and even if you just think about how your foot feels on the floor, or how your bum feels on the seat, or something, you just for seconds,
Yeah.
you start to learn how to stop that racing chatter.
That's what meditation is. When you
Yeah.
do a
Yeah.
Headspace or any
Yeah.
other kind of app-based meditation, that's
Yeah.
exactly the process they
Yeah.
take you through.
But meditation, I think sometimes meditation has connotations that make it sound a lot more complicated
Yes.
than it actually is. Whereas if you just, and also it's that you don't do it. If you're racing sort of unconsciously around all over the place like a chicken, running around with its head off,
Yeah.
it can be difficult to recognise that you're doing that, can't it?
Yeah.
So if you set the alarm
Yeah.
to stop,
Yeah.
that forces you to do it. Also, try yawning.
Yawning. Okay.
We won't do it now because we'll all
I
be
know.
doing it. Yawning.
I know. But I see that. I see what you're saying. Great. But when you've got deadlines, pure deadlines.
We're talking about 2 seconds here. Okay. All right. If you
2 seconds count. No.
No. Yeah, they do. They count if you're taking that time off. If you don't have, how did you go and have a wee?
No, I go and have a wee,
Well, exactly.
and then I'm back at the
There-
desk.
There you go. Right.
Yeah, okay.
So you can stop you really can stop for 2 seconds. You just can, and sometimes
Okay.
that 2 seconds is enough. You don't have to sit on a pillow or on the top of a mountain meditating for 4 hours or a week. You
Okay.
just need to sort of stop. I think that's, and this may be rot, but I wonder if that's where the expression "come to your senses" was, because if you come to your senses,
Yeah.
if you focus on what you can see or hear or
Yeah.
feel, you actually just for a moment come out of your head and the racing thoughts. I don't know if that's true. I mean, perhaps somebody
No, but that's
can.
food for thought,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's a technique, isn't it?
Yeah.
When someone's anxious, you say, right, 5
Yeah.
things I can see, 4
Yes.
things I can hear, 3
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
I can smell, 2
Yeah.
things I can touch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to bring yourself into that moment.
Absolutely. I think most accountants have been anxious for the last month.
Yeah, because anxiety really is worrying about something that's already happened or
Yeah.
worrying about something that could happen.
Yeah.
Whereas now we're all fine, aren't we? We're all sat here.
Yeah,
we've
we
got
are.
our own microphones. Nothing's happening. We've got no earthquakes. We're here. We're sort of okay.
Yeah.
Could have a glass of wine and a meat pie.
Oh, I will later, definitely. It's been dry January for me.
But
meat pie.
Specific, Sean.
Maybe a vegan pie.
Yes. Very specific.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, but we're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're only not okay when we think about what could be happening on the way home.
Yeah.
Or
nothing's different in
Yeah,
this moment
that's right.
than it was 5 minutes ago. So why?
Yeah.
So true.
So
I like that.
That's all it is just 2 seconds. Just stop the chattery crap.
Yeah.
Right, I don't know what we're going to talk about now. Look, we've
Well, we've got an announcement, haven't we? So don't forget.
Oh, God, yes.
The
What,
Woman in
you do it,
Business
you do
Big
it.
Show 2024 at Longfield Academy on the 8th of August. And there will be some headspace things and stuff like that, surely.
Yes, we have some. We have some really interesting speakers. So we have Social Enterprise Kent. So Gina and Social Enterprise Kent will be at the Women in Business Big Show. Michelle and her team will be at the Women in Business Big Show.
Yeah.
So we are going to be we'll have about 15, 20 speakers talking about all sorts of things. One new speaker, which I think is going to be really interesting, is we've got a lady who specialises in autism and tutoring, and she is going to be talking about the finding hidden autism, ADHD, finding hidden neurodiversity, and not just that, making sure that you can recognise the gift that comes from that.
Absolutely.
Dyslexic thinker over here.
Yes,
Yeah, that's it,
there you
exactly.
go. So I wanted to be bringing in some just new angles, all of that sort of thing. You'll also be able to connect with local government there, and just sort of other businesses. We have some wonderful collaborations that come out of the Women in Business Big Shows, and
Absolutely,
it's
you do.
really, really good fun.
It is. It's a great
So
day.
thank you for reminding me to do that.
That's
plug.
okay, no worries.
Okay, I think we need to do a roundup. So thank you so much for Zoe Cairns from ZC Social Media for phoning in. Thank you so much from Mark Jennings from Storm Chasers Digital and the Storm Chasers Digital Academy for I'm peering, nobody can see, I'm peering around the corner to see if he's still in the studio. I can't see because I've got so many monitors. Thank you so much to my co-host Michelle Yianni-Attard.
Welcome.
Thank you so much to Gina English from Social Enterprise Kent and Lauren Edwards, all prospective parliamentary candidate and all sorts of things, goodness knows what, at Medway Council, helping us as businesses to regenerate.
Exactly.
So keeping us all on track. Thank you so much, folks, and we will see you all very, very shortly. I've just got to hang on a minute. Nobody will be surprised. I've just got to fiddle around with the tracks here and make sure we get the right one on the way out. There we go. Thank you, folks. We'll see you soon on the Women in Business Radio Show.
Bye.
Tune in next week to the Women in Business Radio Show for more stories, ideas, and inspiration to help you grow your business.